Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, WWE 2K20 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Now I preface this by stating that I really enjoyed WWE 2K19, and really all I wanted was a better version of that. And I also understood that with Yuke's leaving, Visual Concepts had to take everything on their own. I understood all of this and came in with lower expectations than usual, and I sit here flabbergasted and trying to understand how this game was released in the condition that it's in right now. First of all, gameplay, pretty much just like it's been for the last few years. You have your stamina meter, you have your reversal limits that can be turned off in single player, exhibition, and universe mode. For some reason they changed the counter, the reversal button, and instead of it being on the trigger, it is now the triangle or the Y button, depending on what you're playing on, what console you're playing on. And it feels kind of weird to me, like muscle memory just makes me want to, even after playing for several hours, still makes me want to reverse with the trigger instead of the triangle button in my case. The payback system is back as well. All the same paybacks that were in the previous game are here, including beast mode, including being able to turn the lights out, including being able to call for interference. Of course, big head mode is also back. At this time, you don't have to worry about unlocking it. You can utilize it whenever you want to in an exhibition match by just turning it on in the menu. You have your creation options, though Create a Championship will be patched in later. Universe mode, which is pretty much the same, just a little bit more streamlined with extra cutscenes that don't have voiceover. It's just text-based. You have the return of 2K Showcase, which is an objective-based mode, this time featuring the Four Horsewomen and the Women's Evolution or Revolution or whatever they want to call it. Going from the beginning days featuring Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, and Bayley in NXT to the grandiose moments that they've reached in WWE. As the player, you have to complete certain objectives like get a certain character to red health or grapple this person in the ring, and a cutscene will play out. And that's how the mode's pretty much always been in various forms. One of the things that makes it stand out very similar to last year is the wrestlers themselves giving their thoughts and their opinions on what happened or what led up to certain matches. The same thing can apply to the Roman Reigns Tower as the My Player Towers return, which are just pretty much gauntlet matches featuring different stipulations. And depending on how well you do, you get virtual currency that will allow for you to purchase wrestlers, arenas, though once again not many arenas compared to say 2K18. And though the towers are definitely fun to play around with once in a while, it doesn't really add that much to the overall enjoyment of the game. In the Roman Reigns Tower, which has Roman do the same thing that the Four Horsewomen do, he sits back and talks about what led up to certain matches, his thoughts. Unfortunately, the other towers do not have that type of feature, for obvious reasons, depending on what tower you're playing. My career this time is both better and worse than the last iteration. I think the hokey, campy dialogue and character interactions are fun. I have no problem with those. I think it just fits. It works. I think the characters of Red and Trey sometimes work very well and sometimes go over to the extreme, with Red being more psychotic and just moody while Trey is just an overall goofball. There are genuine moments where they feel normal, just having these heightened personalities, and then there are other moments where they just go way overboard. Instead of having an open hub where you walk around the backstage area finding people to talk to or picking fights, there's this streamlined hub section where you can choose to talk to someone if you have the availability to do so, or just continue on with the story. The entire story is built around the idea that Trey and Red are going into the Hall of Fame, and you're just reminiscing over all of these great moments with optional matches popping up here and there. With that being said, I'm a little surprised in the way they presented this career mode. I thought that it would be separate. I thought you could play as a man or a woman and have your own separate career, but they are connected to one another, with certain chapters being dedicated solely to one character and another chapter being solely dedicated to the other character. The points that are gained that can be spent on attributes are so minuscule, both the points and the attributes themselves, that they really don't make that much of a difference. After gaining about 200 points, I spent a lot of them and I barely got over 70 with both characters. Of course, loot packs return, so your customization options are randomized most of the time. And then there are times you will get stuff that you already got before. Online is pretty much the same as it's always been, with this being a reversal-based game, timing being completely different than what you would experience offline. Lobbies do return when it comes to just regular online play. Now, here comes the problem. WWE 2K20 is a glitch-filled mess when it comes to not only customization, not only crashing, but also certain moments that are necessary to complete the game, especially if you want to play through My Career or Showcase mode. For some reason, you can't download anything that you upload for your creation in terms of pictures. While a majority of the glitches to me had just been mostly hilarious, those kind of things, those issues, the upload, download problem, the disconnection of the internet, these questionable failures of objectives, the hard crashes are just tremendously bad. I've never had a game crash as much as this on the PS4. I've never had this problem like this. The other issue is WWE 2K Originals. Now, this was a highly promoted mode where you had this horror theme, these almost zombified, Frankenstein, monsterfied versions of WWE superstars in these grandiose, scary settings. Now, I knew that certain things, certain characters like The Fiend, certain arenas would be exclusive to the DLC or the pre-order. I didn't expect that all of WWE 2K Originals would be associated with DLC. If you do not have the Season Pass, if you do not have the Bump in the Night pack, you cannot enjoy the highly promoted new mode that is 2K Originals. I can deal with the glitches, I can deal with the lack of progress, I can deal with a lot of these things, but I hate the fact that certain modes are behind paywalls. I hate that, because it takes away the enjoyment that you promoted that I could have had. Overall, I cannot recommend this game. I'm sorry. I do enjoy the gameplay. I'm enjoying My Career mode. Showcase mode is what it is. Universe mode is what it is. Creation options are still there. But the glitches, the crashes, and most importantly to me, the fact that one of your most highly promoted modes is locked behind a paywall is ridiculous. I cannot give anything a solid recommendation when you do something like that. So there you have it. This has been Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. WWE 2K20 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to sit down, show some of these glitches to people that haven't seen them, and hopefully they will have no choice but to shout, "Oh Lordy!"